Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm really excited because I am going to kind of take you along the journey of venue hunting with me. I took some footage along the way that I'm going to insert throughout the video, and I'm actually going to show you our reception venue, which we're so excited about. It was a fluke. It was a drive-by miracle to find, and we're just so excited about it. But there are a few things I learned along the way that I wanted to share and just kind of share in this journey with you all. So before we get into it, don't forget to click that red subscribe button right here. Come on, I know you want to. And yeah, that way I don't want you to miss any of these videos, and we'll just get right into it. So the first thing I want to start with is a couple tips that I would have before venue hunting. I'd say there's probably like 5 things that you would want to know before you start the journey of looking for a venue. And I would say with those 5 things, you also need to keep an open mind about. I was desperate. I wanted a garden wedding, and I had to keep an open mind at the fact that it's not as easy to find garden venues in Central Florida. You really have like Disney, a hotel, ballroom, or a golf course to choose from. And so I had to be very open-minded when looking at venues about that. So I would say that's the first tip, is know what you want, have an idea of what style you want, but keep an open mind. The second thing I would say is have an idea of the time of year that you want to get married, but don't go in with necessarily a set date, because having a venue available on that specific date is very tricky. Our idea of when we wanted our wedding to be and the actual date our wedding is changed by a solid 6 months because things weren't available when we wanted them to be available, and we had to be flexible with our time to have what we wanted be available for when we could do it. So have an idea of the time of year, but don't go in with it has to be on this day and just assume that it's going to be available, because it very well may be, and that's amazing, but the chances are they will give you the dates of what their availability is, and then you can kind of choose from that. The third thing that I would say is a good idea to have in mind is the number of people. You don't need to have an exact guest count, but have an idea. If you are having a smaller wedding, you don't want this huge space that fits 300 people, because then it's going to look empty. And vice versa. If you're planning on having 250 guests, you can't have a room that only accommodates 100 people, because then it will be very cramped and tight, and also I don't think legally they can even allow that many people in that space. So just have an idea of how many people you are thinking, give or take a handful, and that way you are looking at venues that can properly accommodate the guest number that you are anticipating having. I would also say a 4th thing to keep in mind is any special needs or accommodations that you need for yourself or your family or anyone in your guest list. My father is in a wheelchair, and so for us, we needed to have a venue that was 100% handicap accessible. No extra ramps to be installed, no certain things to be done. I wanted a venue that no matter where my dad wanted to go or needed to go, he could go on his own in his chair and be perfectly fine. And also had accommodating restrooms. If it was a 2-story place, then they needed to have an elevator, things like that. So any kind of special needs that's definitely something to keep in mind from the very beginning of looking for a venue. And then the fifth thing I would say is to have a budget in mind, but also this is where you need to stay open-minded. Sometimes a dollar figure can be startling. Trust me, I know. However, if you have option A that is $5,000 and you have option B that's $8,000 and you love them both equally, you might naturally be inclined to say, I'm going to take option A because it's the least expensive. However, you need to see what that price includes, because option A might be cheaper as far as what the cost of the venue is, but then it doesn't include anything and you are stuck renting tables, chairs, linens, decor, etc. Whereas option B on paper might be more expensive, but it might include more things that you then don't have to outsource on your own, which then adds up to being that cost or more. So keep a budget in mind, but be very open-minded to the fact that it really depends on what that number includes. And then you can take it to the drawing board and say, okay, what would it cost to outsource this stuff versus I'm paying a little bit more, but it's already included. And then lastly, I would say just do some research. I used the knot.com for a lot of information, mainly just because I didn't know. I don't know all the venues that exist in my general area. So it's a really good source to put in where you live, your guest count, the style you're looking for, what you want it to include, and it's really just a resource. It's not going to give you all of your answers. You're going to have to dive into a bit more research, but it's a really good place to kind of start your list of ideas of places that look really good, and then you can start to research those places individually and bring your list down. So, without any further ado, I hope that information was at least a bit helpful, but we are going to get into the footage of a few venues that we looked at for our wedding, including our actual venue. So I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you think. Leave some comments below and tell me about your experience if you've looked for a venue. I just want to know. I almost just want to become a wedding planner at this point. I have enjoyed all of this stuff so much. I find it so fun and informative. I've learned so much and it's been so exciting. So yeah, let's go. Let's jump into the very first venue that we looked at. Alrighty, so that footage was of the winery. So like I said, that was maybe 5 to 7 miles down the road away from the church. Again, hotels and restaurants in the area. Transportation wasn't terrible for our guests, so it was a contender. However, the outside, where like the dinner and stuff could take place, very pretty. But if you have a 10 by 10 patch of vines, I don't think that really counts as a vineyard winery. It is on an extremely high traffic road, and it was so loud. As I was just like walking around the area outside, I could hear the semi trucks and the cars and stuff driving on the main road. And you take into consideration, I went during the week, during the day, maybe on a weekend in the evening, it's not so loud. But across the street, they are building a massive, massive resort, and it's a full-fledged construction site. I mean, huge construction site. And I'm in the construction new home business, and I know that Saturdays are a working day, and it just wasn't so fantastic. And then the interior option, I had two problems with. One was logistical. The room was upstairs, but there's no elevator. And my father, who is wheelchair bound, that right there kind of took it off the list. But that's something that I just wanted to share. If you have elderly guests, grandparents, people with disabilities that are coming to your wedding, there needs to be appropriate accommodations for them at all of your venues, where 1, 2, however many you're having. So that really took that one off the list, on top of the fact that literally it was just like a gift shop. The room wasn't, there was nothing there, which in a way, blank space, like kind of a blank canvas, is nice, but they wouldn't be able to move some of the like retail features, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So that went off the list pretty quickly as well. Pros and cons. Pros and cons would be that the location was ideal. It is literally right down the road from our church. There are hotels nearby, there are restaurants nearby, so it was like a one-stop shop for all of our guests. Transportation would be really easy. However, the inside, which you did not see, I didn't have footage of that. The inside, it's just ugly, if I'm honest. It's a restaurant, and it looked like a restaurant. And there's not really any way to go around that. And I didn't love the idea of a golf course. So I did like the garden area that you saw at first with the gazebo. I really liked that area. And so it was a possibility to have like cocktail hour on more of like the brick area and have like a bar outside, and then have the tables and dance floor and set up on the grass area. And we could hang like market lighting and stuff. So there was potential, true potential. But after we ran the numbers and we saw our catering options and stuff like that, it didn't make sense, and we would be settling 100% because none of it at all was what we wanted other than location. So that took the golf course off the list almost immediately. Alrighty, so now this gets into our actual reception venue. However, I wanted to tell a little bit of a story. So one day we went to church and we got done with service, and we were having lunch in the general area where our church is. And I was feeling really flustered about the fact that we hadn't been able to find a venue. We weren't really having any luck on venues. And my mom and I and my dad, it was just the three of us. Justin didn't live with here in Central Florida yet. Our relationship was long distance, so he wasn't here. We decided, let's just drive around and see what we can find. So we're kind of just driving around, and all of a sudden we passed this building, and I said, what's that? Let's go in there and let's just see what that is. And it turns out to be this beautiful clubhouse in the area that we're getting married, which is a community. Gorgeous, like pool and deck and lawn space. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is really, really nice. So we go in, and they actually do events. Like, you can rent out the entire clubhouse for a venue. And I was so like shocked by the entire thing, because I'm like, could it be? We're right down the road from the church. We're right down the road from many hotel and food options for our guests. Literally a half-mile radius is church, hotel, and reception venue. And we were just like, there is no way that this is real. So there are quite a few different clips of footage that I'm going to show now, and then I'll explain the clips after you see them. Alrighty, so the first clip you saw is the front patio and the front exterior of the clubhouse. As you can see, it kind of looks like a house, which I kind of really like. I like the idea that it's like comfy and homey, and I think it has a really nice presence, like as an entrance. And we've decided that that front porch area is going to be like the plan B rain plan for cocktail hour, because it's completely covered and we can have a bar and tables, like high top tables in the front porch for people to kind of gather and mingle if it rains. So that's the front part of it. The second clip you saw is the restaurant part, if you will, of the clubhouse, which, since that footage was taken, has taken on a complete remodel. The walls have been completely painted and it's now hardwood floors, which is really nice because it looks fantastic. I didn't mind it before because all the furniture, tables, etc. would all be removed. So it is like a blank space, but having like the gray walls and the wooden floors definitely aesthetically is much more pleasing, which makes me very, very happy. And then it leads into the footage of where you see 2 pool tables and then we head outside. So those pool tables we're going to keep because I think it's a really fun thing for people to do. It's another activity if they don't want to dance or if they just want to do something different. Play some pool. Who doesn't like to have a beer and play some pool? So we're going to keep the pool tables there. So I'm really excited about that. And then that room is actually going to be the party room. So because our venue is an entire place that we're going to have for the whole day ourselves, we really wanted to take advantage of all of the different spaces to create different experiences for our guests. So that room is going to be the party room where there'll be lounge furniture and the dance floor with the DJ and the bar is there and the pool tables are there. So it's definitely more of like a hangout party vibe in that room. Then we move to the outside by the pool deck, which is the beautiful stone, lots of trees space. And that, fingers crossed, is going to be the cocktail hour space if it doesn't rain. So like I said, plan B rain plan is cocktail hour on the front patio. However, hopefully it won't rain and then we'll have the cocktail space on that beautiful stone terrace out back. And it has its own entrance, which would be great for our guests right off of the parking lot. And there's different spaces. There's shaded spaces, there's open aired spaces, there's a fireplace with Adirondack chairs, which will be the smoking section. I'm Cuban, and so Cuban cigars are a thing for events and special occasions and Friday nights in our family. So we will have some Cuban cigars for the men and women who enjoy that in that area as well. And then, like I said, we'll have a bar outside and high top cocktail tables kind of spread out throughout the terrace. And then from there, there's this huge open lawn that leads to another room. We have been kind of going back and forth on things that we might do on the lawn. I'm open to having like lawn games as part of cocktail hour. Again, another activity for our guests. As the bride, cocktail hour is tricky because I'm not going to be there. I will be with my husband and our bridal party and our parents taking photos and stuff like that. So we won't actually be at cocktail hour, but I want my guests to not just be standing around for an hour twiddling their thumbs. So I want there to be things for them to see and to do and to be entertained during that time period while we are taking care of logistical things like photos. So then that leads me to the next room, which was the room that already had the wooden floors and the gray walls. It's an open space. And so that room is going to be the dinner room. So we'll have it set up with tables and chairs and the centerpieces in that room. That's where dinner will be served, and our guests will be in this beautiful space to have dinner. And then from dinner, they will move into the party room. So it kind of creates this whole circle. Fingers crossed, we're going to go with it's not going to rain in August in Florida. I know. But idea is the guest will come from the parking lot up the beautiful walkway to the open terrace patio space for cocktail hour. As cocktail hour finishes, they will go down the stairs into the lawn space up into what is the dinner room, enjoy a lovely meal, and then from there is a corridor that connects the dinner room to the party room. Then they can make their way into the party room and spend the rest of the evening there. And then that lets us take advantage of the entire venue that we are renting out. And I'm so excited about our space. They have been wonderful. Every question we've had, every idea we've had, they've been so accommodating, and we are just so excited that we've found like this perfect venue for us. And it is really like a blank canvas, so we can design it and decorate it exactly how we want it to be. And we are just really excited. So it was a struggle at first, but we are so happy with our venue. And so we can't wait for that day. And I do have a clip of just the exterior of our church, which I will insert here at the end of the video for you to see. It's so beautiful. And the idea that we're going to have our hotel where all of our guests are going to stay, and we are staying as well, our church and our reception within half a mile of each other is just like so unreal. So we're really, really excited about that. So there you have it. That is our wedding venue. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed kind of going on this venue hunting journey, if you will, with me. And yeah, I'm just so excited to continue to share this process with you all. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you want more videos like this where I kind of bring you along. The next one I think I'm going to put together is wedding dress shopping, because I do have footage and that was such an experience. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.